Today's sermon is titled Tabula Rasa, Becoming New, to be delivered by Susan Landau. It addresses principle number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, and principle 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Susan, who grew up in Southern California, was raised as an occasional Methodist. Susan's mother, a non-practicing Jewess, and her father, a non-practicing Methodist, wanted to give their two daughters a foundation for religious belief without the extra bonus of guilt or dogma. I can't even imagine that. Okay. As an adult, this left Susan free to make the shift from religion to spirituality and to find her own path without a great deal of baggage to unpack first. For that method of child rearing and religious indoctrination, Susan is eternally grateful to her parents. Susan moved to Cambria 8 years ago, found the UUCC, and the rest is herstory. Susan.
Well, hello. So this is actually a spring equinox celebration in disguise. It's called Tabula Rasa. The definition of tabula rasa is a mind not yet affected by experiences or impressions or anything existing undisturbed in its original pure state. When I was a child, I had a book called The Big Jump and Other Stories. One of the other stories was titled Something New, and it was a story about a young boy named Ben who helped the good king to outwit the bad king, and his ultimatum to show him something brand new, something that had never been seen before by anyone, or lose his kingdom. Find something that had never, ever been seen before by anyone. I was captivated by the idea. Does such a thing exist? So let's put a pin in this, and we'll get back to it later. To orient you in time, which may be needed with the way the days are passing now, on this very day, we have arrived at a place where we have been confining ourselves and changing our social habits for a year due to COVID. It was on March 16th, 2020, when 6 Bay Area counties became the first in the nation to announce shelter-in-place orders. 3 days later, on March 19th, the state of California became the first to mandate a statewide shelter-in-place order 1 year ago today, or yesterday. And today, it is the spring or vernal equinox. In 2 weeks, it will be Easter. Taxes are normally due on April 15th, although that's been put off this year. And in 1 month, on April 22nd, will be the 51st anniversary of Earth Day. So I'm here to remind you that it is that glorious time of year where life springs anew and the world awakens once more in spite of all the world events going on around us. So with that in mind, know that today is an opportunity to escape from the global pandemic world, the political world, and bathe ourselves in the beauty and promise of new choices and new beginnings that spring brings with it. So let that sit with you for just a moment. Take a deep breath and bring yourself fully here. Get back in your body. In the native tradition, spring means that the wheel has turned to the east. East is the place of the spirit keeper, Wabun, the eagle, who is influenced by the element of air. This power totem is the chief animal totem of the budding tree's moon, the frog's return moon, and the corn planting moon. Moon. Spring and the east wind represent the time of our human lives of infancy and early childhood. This can be the actual time of life or the phase of a new idea. Also, the infancy and child where we are on our life path and spiritual learning. Wabun is straightforward in his power, which is that of new beginnings. Wabun brings the time of new growth to all of Earth's children. The time of Wabun is the time of freshness, newness, enthusiasm, and creativity. East is truly the time of rebirth, a time when all things are possible. It is a time of innocence and a time of awakening. Wabun brings the eternal promise of spring. Wabun helps us to know that each moment can be a new beginning. The gifts of Wabun are the gifts of spontaneity, playfulness, wonder, inquisitiveness, and truth saying. Wabun brings the abilities to explore, to feel high energy, to be full of curiosity, to question everything, and to have the determination to see what is right around the corner. Think about that. Just take a minute to imagine yourself as a small child, arms outstretched, spinning in circles, out in the middle of a field somewhere, with the joy of just being alive. Let me say that again. Take a moment, maybe close your eyes, and just imagine how it feels to be that child. This year, in the Northern Hemisphere, spring arrived yesterday in the wee hours of the morning, March 20th, at 2:37 a.m. Most of us call it spring equinox, but it is also called the vernal equinox. Sorry. Spring and vernal equinox are used interchangeably because they essentially mean the same thing. Vernal comes from the Latin word meaning fresh or new, like spring. In the 16th century, the word vernal was more commonly used, and so the time of year was called the vernal equinox. But today, we say spring, so over time the name changed. And the word equinox comes from the Latin word for equal night, equus, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night, because on the equinox, the length of day and night is nearly equal anywhere in the world. With every equinox, we begin to have more hours of sunlight with earlier dawns and later sunsets. So I decided to enlist the help of Professor Peabody's Wayback Machine and did a little research online to discover how spring was and is celebrated all around the world. In ancient Greece and later in ancient Rome, Dionysus was celebrated as the god of fertility, wine, flowering plants, and rebirth. When the time came, this made him the obvious choice to be associated with spring. The Dionysian festival was held in Athens every March and showcased the best theatrical poets. In the Middle East and Asia, the spring equinox is celebrated in ways that have been carried over from ancient times. Over 300 million people around the world observe Nowruz, or the Persian New Year. This has been going on for over 3,000 years. People in Iran, Kosovo, Turkey, and many other nations across that area celebrate the New Year on or around March 20th every year, not January 1st like we do here. Nowruz, to say that properly, plays a significant role in strengthening ties among peoples based on mutual respect and the ideals of peace and good neighborliness. Sounds a little bit like you. Its traditions and rituals reflect the culture and ancient customs of the civilizations of the East and West, which influenced those civilizations through the interchange of human values. Celebrating Nowruz is an affirmation of life in harmony with nature, awareness of the inseparable link between us and the natural cycles of renewal and respectful attitudes towards natural sources of life. That sounds eerily familiar to our seventh principle. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. In Japan, the spring equinox, or Shunbun no Hai, is normally celebrated by visiting ancestral graves and having family reunions. Shunbun no Hai is celebrated for 7 days, but on the actual day of the equinox, families spend a good part of the day cleaning and leaving flowers on the graves and visiting with other family members. One of the silver linings of the pandemic is that my cousins and I have started having mini family reunions on Zoom, which has been a fun way to reconnect with my family members that I've not seen in ages. And in fact, I have a Zoom meeting with my cousins this afternoon at 2. Sometimes I even get to see my cousins' kids and grandkids if they come. So yes, family reunions are a bonus of this time of Shunbun no Hai, or COVID. It's a silver lining to COVID. In Mexico, the Mayans celebrated the return of the sun serpent during the vernal equinox, and a celebration now takes place at the El Castillo Pyramid in the center of, okay, I'm going to struggle with this, the center of Chichen Itzu archaeological site. During the spring and autumn equinox, the late sun casts a shadow over the pyramid and creates an illusion that a snake is moving down the pyramid. You can see the serpent head in this picture down at the bottom, and the light is the snake moving all the way up the pyramid. While North America does not celebrate Mother's Day until May, Egypt, Iraq, Libya, Sudan, Syria, and others celebrate Mother's Day on the spring equinox. Although it is not an official Muslim holiday, Egypt began celebrating Mother's Day in 1956, and other countries followed suit. In England, New Age practitioners with connections to the Druids, pagans, and Wiccans attend a sunrise tour of Stonehenge on the morning of the spring equinox. People gather every year before dawn to make the trek to Stonehenge to watch the sunrise in silence. That is my idea of how to celebrate the turning of the seasons. Kind of takes my breath away. Here in the US, spring is celebrated in several ways. In Washington, D.C., for about a 3-week period, you can attend the National Cherry Blossom Festival. The festival represents the friendship between the United States and Japan. During the 3 weeks, there are public events related to the arts, community spirit, and international culture. Rows of cherry blossoms are in full bloom, which brings tourists from all over. In Portland, you can attend the Portland Rose Festival, which starts around the spring equinox and lasts until early June. That's quite the festival. So many events are offered during this time, including the Starlight Parade, which is a glorious parade that is held at night, the Awakening of the Dragons event, which is an ancient Chinese eye-dotting ceremony, the Avenue of Roses Parade, and the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. In Washington State, a month-long event that begins just after the spring equinox is the Skagit Tulip Festival. The Skagit Valley is covered with fields of rows and rows of colorful tulips, all in bloom. I am told that the site is breathtaking, although I've only seen it on the internet. When I lived in Washington, it was always my dream to take a hot air balloon, which is offered, and ride over the Skagit Valley during the Tulip Festival, so I could drink in all the beauty of those tulips from above. The year I finally tried to do it, the weather did not cooperate for ballooning, but it is still on my bucket list. And all over the United States, To signify the start of spring, people celebrate Holi, the festival of colors. The celebration comes from India, where Holi announces the beginning of spring and the passing of winter. Everyone lays their grievances down and celebrates together by tossing colors onto each other, singing and dancing. That sounds really joyful. In India, liquid colors are used, but in the US, we use powdered colors. In North India, Holi is celebrated with special importance because it honors the love of Radha and Krishna. The spraying of the colored powders recalls the love sport of Lord Krishna and his devotees. The purpose of the Festival of Colors is to bring a feeling of oneness, a sense of community, and spiritual and social harmony to everyone. Spring equinox is indeed a magical time all over the world. So now I would like to return to my childhood story, something new, that we put a pin in at the beginning of the service. As you may recall, young Ben was tasked with having to find something new, something no one had ever seen before. Can you imagine what he was able to bring to the bad king to meet that ultimatum and save the kingdom of the good king, never before seen by anyone? There it is. And on that note, spring is here in beautiful Cambria. And how shall we welcome and celebrate spring in our little UU community? Let's embrace it. Look around and see the world waking up from its long winter sleep. Connect with nature, walk on the ranch, Moonstone, or the beach, on the beach itself. Connect with all that is. Connect with the oneness of the universe. Become spring. Now is the time to create your life anew, just as nature is doing. Step into the new and improved you. Imagine yourself not yet affected by experiences or impressions. Imagine yourself as something new. Be the one who is existing undisturbed in your original pure state. Be tabula rasa. Be that something new. And now I have a guided meditation for you. So I will light my chalice. Okay, so gently close your eyes if it feels safe to do so. Place both feet on the floor to connect and ground yourself to the earth below. And extend the root from your tailbone down into the center of Mother Earth so that you are grounded. Now take a deep breath in to the count of 4 and let it out slowly to the count of 8. So you do. Do this 2 more times. And when you are done, allow your breath to return to normal. Now envision a gold light from above coming down into your crown chakra, which is the top of your head. Feel that light come into you, feel its warmth, and feel it make its way down to your heart. See if you can feel your heart beating just by focusing on it. If you would like, you can place your hand on your heart. Now see if you can feel your heart energetically open and expand inside your body to fill it with golden light. Once your body is filled with your golden light, expand it beyond your physical body to an area surrounding your body, maybe a foot or 2 out, surrounding you, bathing you, holding you. Now listen closely and see if you can hear a babbling stream in the not too far away distance, and gently place yourself there by the stream. If you need a chair, it is there. If you want to sit on a log by the stream, it is there. If you want to sit on the grass or on a blanket, it is there. You are being cared for, and the universe is happily responding to your every desire. As you settle in, notice that the air is the perfect temperature for you. As you look up, you can see that there are a few fluffy clouds in the sky, but it's mostly sunny. Sit or stand quietly, breathing comfortably, and begin to observe your surroundings. Just above the stream, dancing across the water, you see a purple, or is it blue, dragonfly come out of hiding. It hovers over the water as you watch. Then it darts off, as dragonflies do, and disappears. Off to your left, a small bird comes into your line of sight, and you watch it as it lands in a bare tree. You can still see it where it has landed because there are so few leaves on that tree because it's been winter. Watch the bird for just a moment and then draw your attention to the tree itself. The tree appears to have been asleep all winter, but look again. Look closely. Like us in the wintertime, the tree has pulled itself inward, reserving its strength on the outside, but still, it has been very busy inside. Notice that there are tiny bumps. Are those buds? Tiny bumps on the limbs that will soon be sprouting into something new. Each bump will become a leaf, each one never seen before, each one with a fresh start. You can feel the sun warm up a little bit. You can feel the sun warm the tree and the bumps on the tree. Then slowly, oh so slowly, watch as the bumps begin to open and tiny leaf buds stretch themselves to life for the first time. Imagine that you are also a tree. Feel the sun warming you, gently and lovingly embracing you. What has been stirring and beginning to bud deep inside of you this long winter? What have you pondered? What have you become aware of? What have you thought you might want to change in your life? What things that no longer serve you do you want to lay down and release? What seeds for something new have you planted within yourself this winter? Who might you be when you awaken this spring? Who will you be when you awaken as something new? Something never seen before. As a tree, feel yourself begin to allow your new buds to come to the surface of your branches. You can feel them on your branches as they begin to open as something new in this beautiful springtime world. Feel spring embracing you. Feel the sun embracing you. Feel the universe embracing you. You are surrounded and held and embraced by love. You are well held and supported by the universe and the entire web of life. Feel yourself expand and connect with all of nature. You are one with everything. Can you feel it? Can you feel yourself opening up to be something new? Know that we will be returning to Zoomland in a few moments. So gather up your something new in both arms and hold it tightly to your heart so that you can bring it back with you. Wrap your arms around it. Very slowly now, begin to bring yourself back into your body. Wiggle your toes, maybe your fingers. Feel the root deep down in the earth begin to slowly let go and come back up inside you. With your eyes still closed, focus your attention back on your heart. Can you feel it beating? Hear yourself breathing. Follow your breath in and out, in and out. Remember to bring with you your something new as you begin to arrive back into yourself, back into your body. And whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes and return to wherever you are here in Zoomland. Welcome back. And thank you for being a part of the UUCC Spring Equinox journey to blossom and become something new. Although it may be uncomfortable or scary, may you embrace your something new with an open heart. May the seeds that you have planted and the buds that have sprouted gently take hold and grow you into your highest and best possible self. And suddenly, you just know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings.